Hey, what's up, my go-getters? Welcome back to another episode of the G Code with me, ADRI.V, where we unlock the codes to success. You already know them go-getter codes for go-getters like you. And today we are tackling a topic that a lot of us are facing, but don't always talk about it. And I have to talk about imposter syndrome. And that's whether you're in corporate America or running your own business. The feeling of not being good enough or doubting your own success is absolutely real. And for people of color, especially Black women, this feeling can hit even harder. So let's dive into it and break it down and give you the G code to overcome it. All right. As I am walking through this with you, because, whoo, baby, yesterday was a day where I really had to sit and remind myself about myself and really just have a come to Jesus moment. And so when today popped up, I said, we're going to talk about imposter syndrome and how we are dealing with it. So for those that are like, yo, what is imposter syndrome? Well, imposter syndrome is that nagging little belief that you're not as competent as others think you are, that you don't deserve your success, and that you're going to be exposed as a fraud at any moment. Now, research shows that 70% of people experience imposter syndrome at some point in their lives, but for the people of color, particularly Black women like us, well, those that are listening, the stats are staggering, okay? A report by leanin.org found that 58% of women of color feel they have to work harder to prove themselves at work, and this is added pressure of often leads to feeling inadequate. Now, I know everyone remembers the clip from Scandal when her daddy went in, and that was a day where I was just reminded yet again at how, as Black women, we tend to overwork ourselves, exhaust ourselves, and continually have to push ourselves because in society, no matter how many degrees we have, no matter how much experience we have, no matter how much we show that we are competent, no matter how much work we put in, it is still not enough to our counterparts. We can be more educated. We have more experience, more knowledge. And as a Black woman, we're capable of raising our children, the streets' children, everybody else's children. And still, when you are in a school or in a job, the folks will still come to you to get it done because they know that you are resilient and that you can get it done. This is why statistics show that Black women are the fastest growing at building businesses, have more degrees, because somewhere in here, we are dealing with what the daddy said on Scandal, that you have to be twice as good, to work twice as hard, and have the twice more education to be even acknowledged, to be even considered. And statistics shows that we are always the ones that are less paid, less positioned, but we are always overqualified. And yesterday, after a meeting, really just sparked this in me. And I had to literally go into my office and talk to myself about the imposter syndrome and reminding me who I am and what I'm capable of. And so when we think about imposter syndrome for Black women in corporate America, you know, this is a whole different monster because many of us are the first and often the only ones in a workplace. And that enough is a lot because we're in 2024. Why is there not enough representation and diversity after so many organizations went through these changes to quote unquote diversify? But as I realized that these diversity, equity, and inclusion positions were the Band-Aid to just stick on a very nasty wound that is deeply rooted in tissue broken and going to the white meat that no one cares to actually sew up, stitch up, heal, and invest in. And so many of us have to deal with being the first in the room and the one to have to tackle everything. And when it comes to Harvard Business Review, they found that imposter syndrome disproportionately affects Black women due to the systemic barriers, microaggressions, and a constant need to prove our worth. What did I say? Now, we're often in spaces where we feel underrepresented, which leads to questioning our own abilities. Even though we are out here doing the work, we sometimes feel like it is still not enough. Yesterday, I felt that way. And I just could not understand, as equipped as I always strive to be, and constantly trying to find other ways to sharpen the tools that I possess. Why am I feeling this way? And the lack of representation and the lack of having someone to speak to you who understands you or even can see you and choose to learn about you, we are missing the mark. And when it comes to even just being in corporate America, not-for-profits, just working as an employee, I've realized that as a Black woman, or even as, a Black person, we're constantly checking in to see if we're doing a good job, where our counterparts could just do whatever and it could be very minimum and they won't be looked at in the very same light. And this alone is why coming home and being able to have a core group of people that you could come to check in with, to see, am I tripping? Am I tripping? Because I'm just trying to figure out, where am I missing at? And you know what else I've realized? Not even just corporate America, but even as an entrepreneur, because I'm working in the sector, and then I'm also working as an entrepreneur. And for entrepreneurs, there's really no different. When you're building your own business, you're constantly faced with decisions and risks. You may feel like you don't even have all the answers. You're not business savvy enough. It's like, am I enough? You're constantly questioning yourself. And this especially hits home when you're the CEO of your own brand. Talk about pressure. When you're the one that's at the top and have to do everything, there's pressure, because you're trying to make sure you're doing right by your employees, make sure you're doing right by the business, your customers. But then it's like, who's talking to you? And then it's like the imposter syndrome kicks in even more when you're comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. And this is why, so many times they speak about putting a blinders on. That's just like when a horse is racing, they have those particular coverings on their eyes so that their eyes could stay forward and you're not looking to the left of you or to the right of you. But then also when you're at the top, what do you have to help sharpen you, and who is going to speak to you? So this is why creating your core group and constantly putting yourself connected to people who can help speak to you. And I just remember calling my mentor and calling a good friend and really diving into that conversation. And so, and I think sometimes also when it comes to imposter syndrome, it's hard to recognize it. It's like when the word came out, I just was like, oh my God, that is it. Who knew that this would be the word that will ring so clear and so true for many people? And I realized too that for a second we didn't know what to call it. And hell, you didn't even know you were dealing with it, because how do you identify it? And so as I think about being a entrepreneur, being a Black woman in nonprofit, or a Black woman in the actual sector of corporate America, and again, dealing with the aspect of there's no diversity, and oftentimes how you show up is misconstrued. If you are asserting yourself, they're saying you're too aggressive. If you're being quiet, they're saying you're not being supportive or partaking. It's like no matter how you show up and what you do, it's going to be flipped and misconstrued. And so when it comes to being able to identify imposter syndrome and even combat it, I said, okay, I got to think about this, because What I am a person of is attacking a thing. And I've kind of gotten to that place once I lost my mother. It's just like, are you going to allow this depression to overtake you and to kill out your time? Or are you going to kill this depression? And so I kind of get into a place where I had to start flipping the script of things and not allowing it to affect me and doing a mental gymnastics to where I just flipped the script. And so looking at imposter syndrome, because it can quickly consume you, quickly take over you, and you're questioning everything in your life that you once was certain for, because there are people who's looking at your life and they're confused because they can't figure you out. So they're confused and they're uncertain, but you are the one who's certain. But then their confusion creates an imposter syndrome for you, because now you're trying to think through their lens and their thought process. And you don't have to do that. As long as you know what you're capable of and you know where you're trying to go and you know how your goals work and your education and how things align, you don't have to explain this to anyone. And for those who don't get it, let them not get it. And for those who do, cling tight to them. And so when I think about having to deal with imposter syndrome, how do you know you're dealing with it? Well, here are some signs, okay? You downplay your accomplishments. You're always over-preparing and second-guessing yourself. You attribute your success to luck rather than hard work or talent or your God-given ability. You fear being exposed as a fraud, as if there is something in here lurking that is not true about you. You think you don't belong, especially in a professional space. Whew. So many of these pieces definitely hit home, because you can feel like I remember being at a space and one day feeling like, oh my God, how do I compare or how do I line up? And when I started being around the people and the things that I thought was common sense were not common sense to them, and thinking that they had a set education they didn't have or the experience they didn't have. And I said, my God, I need to have this same confidence that they have, because they have nothing going in comparison to what I do, yet still roll around here with all this confidence and speak with such a way. And I realized it had to do with how they look, who they are perceived to be in this society, and their positioning and posturing. And I had to then start realizing and shifting my mental on who the hell I am. And again, doing your mental gymnastics, because imposter syndrome comes in waves and moments, and you have to then combat it. And so those are ways for you to know when you're dealing with imposter syndrome. Now, I talked about the corporate piece. I talked about the entrepreneurship piece, talked about, corporate and nonprofit. But one thing that I, as someone who is a single woman, divorced, and really went through the process of healing myself, so I wouldn't bleed on other people from the other person that cut me, really combating my own insecurities and dealings, I realized there can be imposter syndrome when choosing to date. Yeah, because although you may have been healed, you haven't truly forgot the things that's been revealed to you in your circumstance and in your situation. Now, imposter syndrome in dating, this is a whole nother one that I had to sit and break down. And this is something we don't talk about enough. Now, how imposter syndrome can even show up in our relationships. Now, whether you're single, dating, or in a committed relationship, those same feelings of self-doubt can sneak in. And this is how you could begin to really tear up your relationship. You start questioning if you're good enough for your partner, or if you deserve the love and affection you're receiving. And maybe you feel like your partner will eventually figure out you're not as great as they think you are with inside. Now, did this sound familiar? This sounds familiar because for me, I even got to a place where I didn't even want to date, because it was a time where I felt like, after all I've been through, am I really ready to date again. I separated myself, did the work on myself, changed up so much. And then I still felt like, am I really ready? Now, again, I'm speaking to my demo that I know, because I can only speak as a woman. I can only speak as a Black woman. I can only speak as a woman from the hood who has to maneuver and operate within corporate America, nonprofit sector, as an entrepreneur. I'm speaking from experience of having to deal with these things for myself. And for Black women and people of color, this can get even deeper, because society expects us often to tell us that we have to prove our worth in every space, including romantic ones. So when they're talking about, what do you bring to the table? What? I am the damn table. Like, are you kidding me? And the fact that this is a conversation that we are having as a people, and really questioning your worth based on what you are bringing to the table, this is getting crazy. Now, you may find yourself overcompensating, trying to be perfect, or even sabotaging relationships because deep down inside you don't feel deserving of love or a partner, because we're in this space of immediate reciprocation and what can you do for me, and do you worth it, and you a 10 and you're this, and never really getting a chance to know about this person. So much so that even when it comes to imposter syndrome, that women now are not even happy with their own bodies God gave them. You got a little booty now, you want to go ahead and get some injections and get your butt shots and put, fat transfer, because you are not happy with the butt you have. Now you want to get some lip fillers, and now we want to get surgery to snatch the waist and get some implants, because I don't think you want to suck on my little tickle bitties. And then we rock our weave and we add our lashes. And I'm not going to knock a Black woman for doing whatever she want to do, because, baby, I do some of these things too. But it is true that somewhere in here we are dealing with imposter syndrome, because there's a part of us that feel I need to have these things in order for me to feel adequate, in order for me to feel like I look good, in order for me to show up in my best self, how I want to show up. Now, some things are just maintenance, but then some things are just your add-ons that you feel you have to have. And when a woman begins to push on those things, I often think about the men, because then it's just like, well, these are the things you're gravitating to, and these are the things that you are interested in, and these are the things that you are saying to these women subconsciously and directly, that you need to be this in order for your worth to actually be. I see so many of the male friends joke online about being a 10 and I'm this and I'm that. And it's just like, why are we in such a place where it's like we are literally fighting with each other and tearing each other down, and we are already dealing with the day-to-days of life, but where is the love? And so when I think about the idea of fighting with imposter syndrome and feeling like you're deserving of love and not feeling like you're deserving of love, or choosing to sabotage great situations because you don't feel like you're perfect or you're ready, I've been there. I've intentionally pushed people away because I once just felt like, I'm not quite ready. Knowing good and well, we will never be ready. We are all work in progress, just like being in the field of your career, in business, in relationships. It's important to challenge those thoughts. You deserve love, support, and companionship just like anyone else. Just like you deserve to have a great career, to have an amazing business, to make as much money as your heart desire. Just because someone sees your greatness or doesn't mean you are an imposter. It means you're showing them your true authentic self, and they value that. So don't let the inner voice of doubt rob you of your healing and fulfilling relationships. And I mean that too when it comes to you being an amazing employee at a space or an amazing entrepreneur. Do not allow the inner voice of self-doubt to rob you. And, when I think about how do we overcome these things? And I told you, I'm in the space of attacking things. And I be having to really check myself because I dang near be wanting to attack the people who feel like they could say stuff to me in my face and really question my capability. And some stuff be coming out of love, and then some stuff just be coming out of hate, and then some stuff just be coming out of the fact that you don't want me to be great, or some stuff is just coming out of a place that you have not really got to know me still. And then in those moments, you be like, you know what, I got to move far, far from here. But I really had to sit and dive deep into myself. And when I think about the G codes, the whole aspect of this show, of this podcast, is to provide you with the tools, to provide you with the gems, to provide you with the G codes to help you maneuver and move forward in this thing called life. So let's get into the G code, because overcoming imposter syndrome is all about rewiring your mindset. Like I told you, mental gymnastics. Like I'm around here flipping the damn script every chance I get. Because what someone is saying to you or posturing or trying to position you in a certain kind of way, you have to know who you are. And so let's get right into at least 5 G codes, top 5, top 5, top 5. And so you got to acknowledge your wins. You need to write down your accomplishments, big and small. And when a self-doubt creeps in, pull out that list as a reminder that you are the go-getter that you are. Yep. In your job, pull out the list. Create a list of all the things you've done at that space that are accomplishments to you that either helped that place grow, brought them some type of recognition, brought in a partnership, how you were able to increase revenue. Write it down. And remind yourself. And even if you got to remind your supervisor, your CEO, your director, whoever is on a team, of who you are and what you were able to do. 2, challenge negative thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, challenge that thought with the facts. You're in a position for a reason, and it's not by accident. 3, build a tribe. Listen, I told you when I was going through it just the other day, I immediately called my mentor. I immediately called my homeboy. You call and you speak to those people that can speak back into you, that can give you what you need in those moments. A woman that I sought after to be a mentor of mine, she don't even know she's my mentor, okay? But we had a 4.5 conversation the other day. And she gave me play-by-play on how things could possibly maneuver. And baby, she hit everything right on the head. And I'm so grateful to have had that conversation with her, because after coming out of a meeting, I was able to digest the details that I was given better, to better help and ensure that my imposter syndrome does not kick in. You have to surround yourself with a support system of people who remind you of your worth. Sometimes it takes a strong network to reflect your greatness back to you, and will tell you the truth if you're slipping. Because that's both. They will remind you of your greatness and also remind you where you need to get it together. 4, embrace failure as growth, because there are moments when you got to get it together. And imposter syndrome feeds on perfectionism. So remember, failure is just feedback. You can learn from it, grow, and keep it moving. And that right there is key. Keep it moving. Grow and go. And number 5, refrain from comparison. Don't compare yourself to others, to where they are, where they have been. You can't compare your progress to where you were yesterday. You have to focus on your own growth journey. Put on them blinders and lock in on your win. Lock in on your race. Lock in on your journey. Oh, because baby, when you start looking to the left and looking to the right of you, you are going to possibly fall, run into something, crash out, as the young people are saying, and not necessarily make it to the end of where you're trying to go. You got to lock in. And locking in requires focus and concentration, which I know you're capable of. And when it comes to imposter syndrome, I really believe it deals with confidence. And let's talk about building confidence. Now, while you're dealing with imposter syndrome, because let's be real, it's not something that disappears overnight, baby. I told you I'll fight mine every time on a daily. But you can work on strengthening your confidence while acknowledging that imposter syndrome still exists. Like I said, you could be working on yourself and still be in a relationship. You could be working on yourself and still be working at your dream job while you're really trying to understand and comprehend. You could be working on yourself while still pursuing being an entrepreneur, being a great employee, being an amazing girlfriend or boyfriend. And these things will do nothing but help you strengthen your confidence while acknowledging that, I may be dealing with this, but I'm not going to allow it to break me. So let's talk about practicing self-compassion. I'll talk to you about making sure that you are identifying your wins, but stop being your own worst critic. We already have enough people in this world trying to tell us we're not doing it. Don't allow you to be one of them. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would give a friend or that you would give to someone who needs a second chance. You're not perfect, and that's okay. I don't know why this world lied to us on trying to create these perfect lives, the perfect career, the perfect relationship, the perfect family, the white picket fence. Somebody lied, okay? It's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. Ain't nothing ever going to be perfect. One of your titties is bigger than the other. One of your feet is bigger than the other. Your butt cheek is bigger than the other. Your eyebrow is more fluffy than the other. Listen, the bottom teeth don't always line up with the top teeth, and you got to get those fixed. So, baby, listen, nothing is perfect, and that's okay. Give yourself grace and make mistakes or fall short, because that's how you grow. And also accept the mistakes. Accept the falling short and accept where maybe that paper is a little wrinkled, but it still can deliver the message. And I need you to affirm your worth daily. Zig Ziglar said motivation is needed every day. It's like brushing your teeth, washing your butt. Well, he ain't say that, but that's how I add it. It's needed daily, like the daily necessities, putting on deodorant or you funky. So if you don't affirm your worth daily, we can have a problem. So what does affirming your worth daily look like? Being positive, having positive affirmations. Start your day with affirmations like, I am enough. I deserve success. I am more than capable. I am a go-getter. I will go get it. It meaning everything that I desire, that I write, that I see, that I want. And write them things down. Say them out loud and let them soak and permeate and rest in your body like you would do your shea butter and that lotion that you rub in. The more you speak positivity into your life, the more you begin to believe it. It's just like going to the gym, baby. When you're not in the gym, you start gaining them pounds and the body start getting round. But when you are in the gym, you start slimming down. And the boys start coming around. Come on, ladies. I'm a rhymer. I'm a rapper, low key. But it's the truth. The more you speak positivity in your life, the more you begin to believe it. The Bible says, in my favorite book, it says, speak those things that are not as though they were. The more you have faith to believe and speak those things and begin to operate in that space to go after those things will be. So may I come to remind you and encourage you to do just that. Now, again, I said this before and I'm going to say it again. Celebrate your wins, baby. Big wins. On my radio show, I'll talk about the wins of the week. At the end of the day, identify your wins of the day. Because at the end of the week, this is when I'm on your radio on Friday nights and Saturday nights. And I'm talking to you directly because people have no idea how hard it is just to make it to the end of the week in a positive space. And to look at the cup half full and not half empty. And to look at your life worth fighting for, and to be happy that you woke up that morning, because guess what? It was a gift many did not get a chance to open the box to receive. So let's talk about your wins. No matter how small, no matter how big, make it a habit to celebrate your achievements. When you hit a goal, whether it's in your career, business, personal life, entrepreneur, all the things with your relationship, acknowledge it. Give yourself credit for what you have accomplished instead of brushing it off as a luck or no big deal, because you had to structure that out. You had to do it, and you did that, boo-boo. Now let's get into this one. Step outside your comfort zone. Yep. Confidence builds through action. Now start taking small steps outside of your comfort zone, whether that's speaking up more in meetings, going for the promotion, or trying something new in your business. Each time you succeed, you build confidence that you can handle even bigger challenges. This is what I like to call like shooting my shot. And I'm gonna be honest, I get real in my feels sometimes because to be real, especially even when it comes to men, I'm super shy in that area. So if he don't talk to me, I ain't saying nothing. But sometimes, and I'm not one, I'm gonna shoot my shot first. But I remember one of my mentors telling me, Adriana, sometimes you just gotta let the man know that you checking him too. Give him a nice little stare for a couple. Look at him. Throw a little smile. Give him the green light that he might want to come over here and holler at you. Do a little something, right? And so step outside your comfort zone. That's me stepping all the way outside of my comfort zone. But another thing is sending that email to that CEO and letting them know I'm interested in being a part of your company. Sending that email so they may not even be hiring, but shoot your shot. Step outside of your comfort zone and do something that will allow your life to shift and speak up and to give you that momentum. And when you got that momentum, ride it out and keep riding it. You know, I remember growing up and working with my grandfather, well, not working with him, but coming to his shop while he was working. My grandfather was a mechanic, and it's really something that reigns true into my family. And I know eventually it'll be something I'll move into in addition when it comes to one of the things that I will be exploring. And so I remember when somebody's car broke down and my grandfather was like, get in the car and steer it. And as we push it, we get the momentum and it won't be as hard no more. We can just let it glide and let it guide. And sometimes that's what it is. All you need is to get a good push for you to gain your momentum when it comes to stepping outside of your comfort zone. And you can do that. And another thing, you know, that I am big on is making sure that you visualize your success. This comes with so many aspects. Spending time each day to visualize what success looks like to you. Seeing yourself thriving in your career, running your business, or in healthy, fulfilling relationships. You know, visualization helps train your brain to believe that you can achieve those things, and it strengthens your belief in yourself. Whether it's a vision board that you cut stuff out or create a digital one, or you got an image that's up on your computer or something you see on a daily basis, or you taking the time to sit and meditate and pray so that you can speak to your success, visualize your success, and meditate on that. And when it comes to visualizing success and positivity, you have to surround yourself with positive influences. Your circle matters. My grandfather would always say birds of a feather flock together. If you rolling around with a hoe, you're going to be a hoe. And that's what he would say to me. And your circle absolutely matters. You have to surround yourself with people who uplift you, challenge you to grow, and remind you of your worth. And that doesn't mean they got to be saying this to you, but it's just them living out their actions. I have a friend that has serious barriers about her life. She is so structured, and I love that because it keeps her on task. I have a friend that don't play about her finances, and she's going to always get every penny. I have one that don't miss a day of going to the gym. He don't play no matter where he is. I have another one that's going to go after every contract possible that she knows fits her company. I have one that is going to speak up and speak for those that can't speak for themselves relentlessly. I have so many friends in different sectors of life that are killing it in the game. We all dealing with some issues, but they are so relentless that they don't allow the vicissitudes of life to weigh them down. And guess what? I have these people in my circle who also motivates me through their life actions. In addition to us being able to talk to each other about it. But when they're hitting a goal, achieving a goal, I'm even more excited and motivated to go and get mine too, because they're showing me it's possible to do. So who's in your circle? You have to avoid negative influences that feed your self-doubt. Avoid people who are woe is me all the time, because sometimes, baby, you got to put the oxygen mask on you first before you can help another person out. And it's so true in so many levels. So avoid negative influences that feed your self-doubt, whether that's in your personal or professional life. Now, seek mentorship and therapy. I said that. Listen, mentorship saved my life. Therapy gave me life in addition to Christ. Mentorship is the real G code to success. Sometimes talking to someone who's been where you are or seeking professional help can make all the difference. Mentors can provide valuable insight and perspectives, while therapy helps you work through deeper issues that may be continuing and contributing to feelings of inadequate. My mentors will run down to me. Well, you remember when you did this and you got over that? Remember when this happened? You got over that? Remember when you felt this and you knew it was time to pivot? You know you're capable, sweetheart. And these are the areas you can work on. Like I said, mentorship is the G code to life. It makes your life easier because someone went through something so you don't have to deal with that. Or you can have the G codes to show you how to maneuver, which allow you to excel a little bit quicker. And therapy helped save my life so that I'm able to digest the things that are going on in my life to work through those with systems. So many things. And own your story. This is the big part of overcoming imposter syndrome and accepting your journey. Your failures, your setbacks, your success. Understand that your path is uniquely yours and everything you experience has prepared you for where you are now. Everything, every heartbreak, every hurt, every disappointment, every high opportunity, every achievement has got you to where you are and made you to who you are. And it's prepared you for where you are now and where you are about to go. And no one else can walk your path and own it. No one knows your story like you. So make sure you are sharing your story through and through. Share it. You can share it. And that's key because so many people will try to tell you about you. I had someone try to tell me about me. And I take that advice. I've learned to take the meat, spit the bones. However, sometimes it can feel very disrespectful or very, what's the word? Ignorant. If you have been around these people and still choose not to digest who they are and what they are about. And so in all these things, it is key to ensure that you know that you are more than capable of getting through these moments of imposter syndrome. Giving you the tools to maneuver, helping you identify what it looks like, knowing that imposter syndrome could creep up into being an entrepreneur, an employee, and even in your romantic and platonic relationships. But also I gave you the idea of how to combat these things. And I'm only, again, speaking from experience as someone who has to maneuver and work through this themselves. Because I would never steer you wrong on that. Because I'm not going to speak from a place that I'm not operating in. Ever. Or trying to maneuver through. Or trying to grow and go out of. And along the way, as I am working on this, you already know I'm a radio personality and music truly has become my medicine. Music is medicine. It can feed the thing that you need to help you succeed. It can feed the thing you need to help you succeed, baby. And when it comes to leaving your mark, okay, I can't leave you without a good playlist. And I had to give you some songs that will remind you and force you to understand that you are a force to be reckoned with and to give you that extra boost of confidence. And although folks may feel like this man a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but Kanye be talking some truths. It's just the messenger and his delivery, okay? And if you want to really get into your ego and get into your self-confidence, listen to some Kanye. Listen to his albums. Okay. One, definitely, You Can't Tell Me Nothing. You can't tell me nothing, right? Like what? You can't. You cannot. And when you really kind of gotta sit down and I talk about writing out your wins and thinking and meditating, moment of clarity, Jay-Z. Come on. Moment of clarity. And when it comes to writing down your wins, you got to remind yourself that all you do is win. DJ Khaled, Ludacris, Rick Ross, T-Pain. Come on. Remind yourself you're a winner. Remind yourself. And when you are dealing with moments, the show goes on. Lupe Fiasco. Kendrick Lamar, humble. Yep. And also not like us. You just got to, when folks can't understand you, understanding they just not like us. They can't. And when it comes to ensuring that you are working hard to get to that next level, Sierra, level up. Level up. Level up. And these are just a few. And I'm going to put together a good playlist for you on my iTunes. So make sure you find an ADRI.V The Go Getta. Because, baby, sometimes you got to throw that music on to remind you that who the hell you are and whose you are and what you're capable of out here. And so, listen, I feel like I kind of got on my little preachy moment for a second, but baby, it is necessary because I know I'm not the only one feeling like this and dealing like this. I know I'm not the only one experiencing this. Because the people will lie to you. The people will try to make you feel. You see, I'm clapping. I'm getting real aggressive. The people will try to make you feel that you're not enough. And as I had to check in with myself as an educated Black woman, 2 degrees, certifications, pursuing conferences, pursue more certificates, making sure I'm sharpening the tools I'm with, being around the right people, doing the right things as much as possible. Now, do we slip sometimes? Yes, we can. But the idea of knowing that in order for me to even to compete, I have to have twice as much, be twice as good, have to be conscious of my aggression that they say, where it's just me being assertive or just me being direct or me being excited or commit. It's so many things, the hoops and loops that we have to mentally deal with to operate within our spaces and places, that you definitely need a playlist to bring you together. But also you have to remind yourself that you are together, that you have it, that you are fully capable. And oftentimes, I'm on my social media and I always do a Dear Go Getter because folks be thinking I'm just on here posting and trying to motivate others. But no, baby, I am talking to myself. And for today, I just want to tell you, dear go-getter, never give anyone the space to second guess who you are and what you're capable of. Your purpose is powerful. Your vision is clear and your strength is undeniable. Keep pushing, keep striving, and remember, the only limits are the ones you set for yourself. So, baby, get up, get out, and go get it. And that's it for today's episode. Remember, imposter syndrome is just another hurdle to jump over on your path to success. So go ahead and be the great Olympic gymnast that you are and make that happen and hit your mental Olympics and flip it, baby. You have what it takes. Don't let doubt take the driver's seat. And until we meet again, my friend, right here inside the G Code, where there's no need for the cheat code when you got the G Code. So always keep your notebooks and pens ready because I'm going to make sure I bring it to you. And always remember, be a go-getter and ask, seek, and knock after everything you desire and go out there and live your best life. And that's beating every statistic tactfully. I love you so much for listening. And as always, welcome to the G Code.